Want to know the truth about sports betting? Well, watch this video to find out before you place another bet. Welcome to Sports Betting Truth, where it is my goal to bring you actual sports betting advice without the touting, shilling, hype, or false promises. I'm going to get right to it. What is the number one overall truth of sports betting? Well, I'll ask you a question. What percentage of people do you think lose money in the long run betting on sports? 25%? 50%? Well, what if I told you that 99% of people lose money in the long run betting on sports? At least 99%. Probably closer to 99.5, 99.6% of people lose money in the long run betting on sports. That's the cold hard truth of sports betting. That is the number one truth of sports betting. Everyone thinks, though, that they're the exception to the rule. Well, I make money. Really? Be honest with yourself. Do you really make money betting on sports? Be honest. Do you track all your bets and know how much money you have going in and out? Do you know your cash flow? If you're still making money, congratulations. You're part of the top 1% of people who make money betting on sports. But I guarantee you, 99% of you who say you make money betting on sports are lying, because that's the reality. The average person does not stand a snowball's chance in hell of making money betting on sports. That's just the facts. But that's the thing. The dream is sold. The dream is sold. The dream is sold to any average Joe who likes sports or has sports knowledge or who likes to watch sports can easily make money on the side betting on sports. It's that easy. If you have a little bit of sports knowledge, if you watch a lot of sports, and it's easy, right? That's the dream. The dream is sold by sports books, by casinos, by the media. The dream is sold. But the reality says otherwise. Some people even sell the dream that you can quit your day job and just make money by betting on sports alone. It's sold as something that easy. But the reality is, sports betting is a lot harder than it sounds. You have to hit 52.4% of your bets at minus 110 juice to break even. But flipping a coin will win you 50% of the time. So how hard can achieving that extra 2.4% be? I mean, it can't be that hard, right? Well, actually, that 2.4% is a lot harder than it sounds, and that's just to break even. That is just to not lose money. No, I am not saying you can't win money on the short run. I'm not saying you can't go take a weekend trip to Las Vegas and come out ahead betting on sports. It's absolutely possible. It's absolutely doable. You have casino games with hard house edges that are impossible to beat in the long run that you can come out ahead in a short period of time with. You can go sit down at a roulette table for 5 hours despite the 3.2 or 6.1% house edges depending on how many zeros are on the wheel. You can sit down at a roulette table for 5, 6, 7 hours or an entire weekend and come out ahead betting on roulette. It's absolutely possible. I'm not saying you can't win money in the medium run. You can bet NFL for an entire season or any other sport without any kind of hard-coded strategy and come out ahead. It's absolutely possible. I'm not saying you can't win money in the short or medium run. I am talking about the long run here. Over time, 99% of people will be ground into powder by either the juice or just by being beat by the books. That's just the reality. Most people do not stand a chance betting on sports, despite the dream being sold that it's easy. Which brings me to sports betting truth number 2, and that is sports betting is hard. I don't think people understand the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of dedication, the amount of hard work, the amount of discipline, the amount of attention to detail it actually requires to make money in the long run betting on sports. There is no get-rich-quick schemes here in sports betting. There are no shortcuts. There are no easy streets. In order to actually turn a long-term profit betting on sports, it takes more time than you would imagine. It takes more work than you would imagine. If you want to profit long-term, it is pretty much a full-time job to do so. You know, I have models out there that I use in baseball, in college football, in college basketball. In those 3 sports, I have been able to create models that have netted me a long-term profit. But the amount of time and effort I had to put into those models, if I told you how many man hours I had to sink into those, you would probably be like, oh man, that is way too much time. While all my friends and people my age were out there, partying or playing video games or doing whatever hobby it is they do, I'm sitting here trying to develop my models to make me money in the long run. The amount of hours it took would blow your mind. It takes a lot of dedication, and most people are not willing to put in the effort. That's the thing. It is not easy. If it were easy, sportsbooks would either not exist or the juice they would offer on their lines would be so high it wouldn't even be worth betting. That's the reality. It's not easy. Which brings me to sports betting truth number 3. The only way to profit long-term in sports betting is to have a mathematical, analytical, statistical model rooted in measurable, defined, and quantifiable statistics. That is the only way. I don't care what your friend says. Everybody knows that guy who claims they make money betting on sports just via their gut or their instinct or their hunches, or I'm just good at eyeballing the board and just picking out winners, or I just study the stats and I watch the games and I'm just good at picking out the winners. Really? Trust me, that is not a strategy. But that's probably the most common strategy that people use when betting on sports. They just go with their gut, their hunches. They just study the stats. They watch the games, and they're just knowledgeable. I'm just really good at. I'm a sports maven. I'm a sports expert. I just know. That is not a strategy. That will bury you in the long run. Again, I emphasize, it might win you money in the short run. It might win you money in the medium run. But over time, you will be ground down into powder if you go that route. I don't care what your friend says. I don't care what you say. That is not a strategy that will win you money in the long run. And no, you're not an exception to the rule. Because you're going up against two forces here. You're going up against the odds makers, who are probably smarter than you. I do analytics for a living. And I know the sports books are smarter than me. I know the odds makers are smarter than me. And second, if the odds makers get it wrong, you're going up against the market, which is more efficient than you. They're very good at correcting odds makers' mistakes. So you're going up against two very powerful forces here. It's not easy to beat. You're not going to beat them just by eyeballing the board, my hunches. Percentages win money, not hunches. If hunches won, then how come you have all these psychics in Las Vegas working the strip instead of actually going to the tables and making money? It takes a defined strategy to win in the long run. Now, I am not saying you need a PhD in statistics or data science to be able to create models that will win you money in the long run. That's not what I'm saying. But at the very least, you need basic math knowledge, basic statistical knowledge, and a very basic understanding of Excel functions and or programming. That's what you need to be in the ballpark to get started on the path to long-term profitability. Now, I'm going to emphasize this. Having a model puts you on a path to long-term profitability. It does not guarantee you long-term profitability. Which brings me to sports betting truth number 4, and that is there are no guarantees in sports betting. There are no locks. There are no surefire things. Anyone who says that there is a guarantee, that there is a lock, that there is a surefire pick is either a tout, a shill for touts, or an idiot, or all three. There are no guarantees. Even me, with my models that have won me money, there's no guarantee that those models will continue to win me money. They could all of a sudden stop winning me money today, and I'll have to go back to the drawing board. A model does not guarantee that you will win. There are no guarantees in sports betting that you will win. A model simply gives you a chance to win. All the other strategies will not give you a chance at all. You have a 0% chance of profiting long term with any strategy other than a model. A model simply gives you a chance. It is like counting cards in blackjack. In blackjack, you have basic strategy, which is a table of plays that you make which minimize the house edge. It does not maximize your return. It minimizes the house edge, because even if you play perfect basic strategy in blackjack, the house still has the edge in their favor, and you will lose in the long run 100% of the time. Basic strategy does not win you money. It just minimizes your losses. Now, the way to have a chance in blackjack is to count cards. But counting cards does not guarantee you will win. It simply gives you a chance to win in the long run. If you do it right, you have a chance to win. Any other strategy in blackjack, you have 0 chance of winning in the long run. Counting cards is the only way you have a chance. Having a model in sports betting simply gives you a chance to win. But you still have to have a model that works. You can have a garbage model that will lose you money. A model does not guarantee you a win. It simply gives you a chance. Now, with all this in mind, how do you win money in the long run betting on sports? Is it even possible? Now, I have a video titled How to Have a Chance at Winning at Sports Betting. Is it even possible? I suggest you check that video out now that you know the actual truth of sports betting. The reason I didn't include that material in this video is because the point of this video is to educate everybody about the truths of sports betting. And now that you know the truth, you have the proper mindset to go forward and learn strategies to have a chance at winning at sports betting if it's possible. Now, I hope you found this video educational and helpful, and if you did, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. Now, these are the 4 hard truths of sports betting that not many people have a firm grasp of, but it's the reality. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of people who watch this video and be like, you're wrong. I make money betting on sports and I don't use a model. Okay, congratulations on being a massive outlier, but eventually you're going to regress to the mean like everybody else and be a long-term loser. That does it today for Sports Betting Truth. Until next time.